The most recognized steam locomotive known the world over is having a birthday this week. He's no youngster, 70 years old. The most recognizable steam locomotive is an 060 Class E2 standard gauge British built. It's a tank engine, very brightly colored, and very popular worldwide. It's the #1 recognized engine in the world and the #1 engine on the island of Sodor. In fact, there's a book about him. Thomas the Tank Engine is very proud of the branch line. He thinks it's the most important part of the whole railway. He has 2 coaches. They are old and need some paint, but he loves them very much. He calls them Annie and Clarabelle. Annie can only carry passengers, but Clarabelle can take passengers, luggage, and the railroad guard. Hi, it's me, America's Sir Topham Hatt. And of course that engine is Thomas the Tank Engine. He and I and all of these great characters came from a very imaginative man. And that's our episode today, as we welcome you to another of our behind-the-scenes tours here at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum at the St. Louis County Depot in Duluth. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you share these with friends, relatives, neighbors, and as I always say, that cranky old guy down at the corner. Thomas the Tank Engine is a phenomenon worldwide. And it all began back in 1943. Wilbert Awdry, Reverend Wilbert Awdry, an Anglican parish priest. His father, by the way, was a vicar in the church. In 43, his young son Christopher became ill with the measles and was bedridden. And because they were both rail fans, well, to entertain his son, he of course told him stories. And the stories he made up were of a mythical railroad on the mythical island of Sodor off the coast of England. And all the characters from Sir Topham Hatt to Percy to Thomas to Annabelle and Clarabelle all came from the imagination of Wilbert Awdry. In 1945, 70 years ago this week, his first book was published on the suggestion of his wife. It was called The 3 Railroad Engines. The very next year, another set of books came out called Thomas the Tank Engine. And of course, then it became a worldwide phenomenon. Didn't hurt that it was on television, first in the UK and then all around the world, especially here in America. We all remember George Carlin and Ringo Starr as the station managers. And that, of course, led to this, The Day Out with Thomas. Probably one of the most kid-friendly events ever designed, because it combines this wonderfully mythical, great locomotive who faces all the turmoil and all the decisions that adults face in the real world, but are now train engines solving real-world problems the old-fashioned way. And that, of course, captivates youngsters, because it also has to do with trains. And the Day Out with Thomas events happen all around the world. In fact, here in the North Shore Scenic Railroad, we've been doing Day Out with Thomas for the last 10 years, attracting upwards of 18 to 20,000 people over the 2 weekends every year that we do it in the first 2 weekends of August. And at this particular point, we're still scheduled to have all this fun again this year. We have train rides, of course, with Thomas and his bestie, Percy. We've got bounce houses. Why, there's entertainment galore. Live music, a juggler, we have a magician, we've got mini train rides and all sorts of festival foods. Not to mention the imagination stations. Send a letter to Thomas or your favorite island or anybody else that you want to associated with the railroad on Sodor. And we do a sensory-friendly day for people with family members who have autism, and we thank US Bank for sponsoring that. Check us out. Maybe you'll come here and visit us for our Day Out with Thomas. As I said, right now, it is scheduled to take place on the first 2 weekends in August, and we hope to be running it. Stay tuned. Go to our website, duluthtrains.com, to find out more. You can also go to duluthtrains.com/video tours and binge watch all of our over 4 hours of content that we've been putting out each and every day since this all began. Hopefully it'll all be over soon. But in the meantime, remember what Thomas would tell you to do. He'd tell you, wash your hands, cover your coughs, don't touch your face, keep a social distance. If you're sick, stay home. Maybe someone will tell you a train story. In the meantime, let's take care of each other.